Today we're going to look at logarithmic and exponential models with interest problems. Now there are two types of interest that we have to deal with. One is what we call compound interest, and there's a little big long formula for us right here. We use this one all the time when we're like buying a car. And it talks about all the parts to it, and we'll go through that as we go through the problem. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at number one. Frodo is suing Bilbo for the value of a lost ring and won $20,000. Frodo decides to invest that money at 6% interest, compounded quarterly. The question is, how much will the investment be worth in 5 years? That should be the word, in 5 years. So to answer this question, we're just going to list out our parts. We have A, P, R, N, T. And as we go through this, we're going to talk about each part. A is the new amount. That's how much Bilbo is looking for. How much is it worth? P is the original amount that we're going to borrow or invest. In that case, that's our $20,000. R is the rate. Now, the rate is always as a decimal, so we can write that as 0.06. N is the number of times that we compound it yearly. And we're told that we're compounding it quarterly, which means 4 times. So N is going to be 4. And T is the time, and now time is going to be in years. Time always has to be in years for compound interest. And then we're just going to plug it all in. A equals 20,000, 1 plus R, 0.06 over N, which is 4, to the N times T. So I take the 4 times 5. And we're just going to type all of that in our calculator. Now to do this on the calculator, very easy. Take 20,000 times 1 plus, and just do this, just exactly as it looks in the count on here, 0.06 divided by 4. And I'm going to raise that. I can do 4 times 5, but that's just 20. Now the 20 is the number of times it's going to be compounded over those 4 years. Over those 5 years. So it's like taking the simple interest formula and doing it 5 times, 20 times for us. So hit enter, and that's how much it's going to be worth. $26,937.10. We're talking money, so go out 2 decimal places here. So let's go ahead and try number 2 here. Same thing. A sum of $5,000. That's our P, our original amount, is invested for 2 years. That's T. And the interest is compounded monthly. That means N is going to be 12. If this sum amounted to $56.30, they're giving us the final amount this time. Now they want us to determine the interest rate. If you ever want to find out what true interest rate on a card is, this is what you can do. It's kind of a cool little thing. Wait a couple. All right. So if I set up my formula, I have A, P, R, N, T, and I'm going to list out everything. Well, A we just said was $56.30. P is 5,000. R, that's what we're looking for. N is 12, and T is 2 years. Just plug it all into your formula. A equals P, 1 plus R, that's what I'm looking for, over N to the N times T, 12 times 2. And I'm going to solve this. Now this is a lot harder to solve. We're going to do this in steps. I'm going to divide by 5,000 first. 56.30 divided by 5,000. And that gives me 1.126. Be as accurate as you can on this one. Equals 1 plus R over 12 to the 24th. Now, to undo a 24th power, we're going to take a 24th root. So in the calculator, we're going to write this as, I'll write it over here, this becomes 1.126 to the 1/4. And that's going to equal 1 plus R over 12. So I type in 1.126 to the, put the 1/4 in parentheses, and I get this 1.030 equals 1 plus R over 12. I'm going to solve it. Subtract 1, I get 0.030 equals R over 12. And multiply by 12, so take that 0.030 times 12, and I get 0.36. So what's the interest rate? Now that's as a decimal. As an interest rate, it's going to be 36%. Terrible credit card. Don't get that one. All right. So if you need to, go ahead and try these again. These are kind of easy and fun to do. For part 3, now we're asked to find the principal, P. Now, we're needing to get $12,000, so that's A. At 4 years, that's our T, and there's our R. Compounded semi-annually, N is 2. So we know an interest rate, and we want to get $1,200. So the question is, how much do we have to invest? So I list out my letters, R, A, P, R, N, T. And I just plug in everything. A is how much I want, $1,200. P, that's what we want to know. R, 0.05. N is 2. T is 4. And I plug it into the formula. A equals P 1 plus R over N to the NT. Oh, and I forgot to plug in everything else. Silly me. 1 plus R, which is 0.05, over N, which is 2, to the 2 times 4. And I'm going to simplify this as much as I possibly can. Equals P. And if I just type this in my calculator, if I type in 1 plus 0.05 divided by 2, whoops, clear that, 1, don't forget the parentheses, plus 0.05 divided by 2, and I'm going to raise that to the 8th power. And that gives me this 1.218. And I divide. How much do we have to invest? 1,200 divided by 1.218. We would have to invest $985.22. And that's going to give us an investment of $1,200. So these are actually pretty easy to do. So if you need to, go ahead and go through these again. Try them one more time if you need to, and then go on to part 2.